I pretty much lost money playing in the WNBA, if I'm being honest. Like if you look at like inflation and stuff.
You lost money? You expect me to believe you lost money playing in the WNBA? Oh, the Sue Bird, Curly Sue! If you think you're the victim in this situation, watch the rest of this video. Let Uncle KC give you a little bit of insight into who is really losing money. It was only a matter of time. It was only a matter of time before the NBA said enough is enough. This should have happened years ago. Hell, this should have happened decades ago. When you're investing millions and millions of dollars into a dump, when you have spent the last 30 years investing hundreds of millions of dollars into a polished turd, and not once have you seen a return on that investment, not once have you received a dividend, not once have you received a single peso in return, I would imagine that you eventually reach a point where you have finally had enough. And that is exactly where a large group, if not all, NBA owners are right now with the WNBA. You know, when I was growing up, my dad constantly told me to never rely on someone else for your income. Do not borrow money. Do everything you can to rely on yourself, because the borrower is always slave to the lender. Always. How many times have I said on this channel, sympathy can only take you so far? How many times have I said there will come a point when the WNBA will be expected to perform? How many times have I said the biggest threat to the future of the WNBA is the entitled players? One of the many problems when you're the subsidy instead of the subsidizer, you are 100% reliant on their mood. You are 100% reliant on their good graces. One day you could be living the good life on someone else's money. You're traveling around the country on chartered flights. You are ordering room service at the Four Seasons. You're playing pretend basketball games in state-of-the-art NBA arenas in front of thousands of empty seats. All the while, you're constantly complaining. You're whining because you feel like your subsidizer isn't providing enough of the money that you falsely believe that you're entitled to. You wake up one morning and your dream life has become a nightmare. Chartered flights? That is now Greyhound buses. The only time you see the Four Seasons is when the climate changes. You're now staying at the Red Roofless Inn. No more pretend basketball games in NBA arenas. You are now playing in empty high school gyms. If WNBA players aren't careful, this could be the new reality. If you want me to be completely honest with you, this should be their reality. Because for 30 years, they have been relying on generous donations from the NBA for their existence. For 30 years, they have been completely reliant on the toxic masculinity that they complain about for their minimum wage salaries. And if the WNBA isn't careful, that free money train, it could rapidly turn into the Bruce Caboose. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel in the description below. Yesterday morning on the second channel, I went off for about 10 or 11 minutes about the current state of my Saints. Haven't figured out the topic on the second channel for tomorrow, but if you have a suggestion for me, shoot me an email, btlkc84@gmail.com. Last night, the New York Post published a nightmarish report for the diva of Dump Divas, Kat Engelbert. Headline at the New York Post: WNBA will lose $40 million this season, and its NBA investors are growing impatient. Now, there are two ways that we can look at this story. We can look at this the way the delusional Gen Z kids will look at it. This is great! The dump saved the NBA $10 million. They were supposed to lose $50 million. They only lost $40 million. Woohoo! Yes, yes, yes! Or we could look at this the way adults would look at it. We could look at this the way grown men and grown women, people with knowledge and wisdom, basically, we could look at this the right way. The WNBA is a dump, and if they don't get their shit together, the NBA could pull their resources. After reading this article in the New York Post last night, I get the feeling that some NBA owners, they would pull out of the WNBA today. It seems like the only thing saving the WNBA from destruction, the only thing standing in the way of seeing our dreams come to fruition, the only person stopping the for sale sign from being posted on the security gates of the dump, which, as you guys know, the security gates in the dump, they are designed to keep people inside. They are damn sure not designed to keep people from coming in, because most people have no desire to pay their hard-earned money to watch pretend basketball. But the only person standing in the way of the complete downfall of the WNBA, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. The question is, why? I mean, seriously. Let's look at this logically for a second. According to the New York Post, NBA owners, they have invested hundreds of millions of dollars into this polished turd. Notice I did not say Adam Silver has invested. It's not his money he's controlling, it's their money. NBA owners have invested hundreds of millions into this dump, and they have yet to see a return in 10,950 days. The WNBA's had over 10,000 days to figure out a way to generate a Colombian peso in profit. One Colombian peso, that is worth $0.00024. Now, I'm not great in math, but it would appear that a Colombian peso ain't even worth a penny. That's how low the expectations have been in the WNBA. All we're asking for is a Colombian peso in profit, and you can't even give us that. I completely understand why NBA owners are pissed off. You got a doofus commissioner named Adam Silver donating your money to a league that is incapable of generating profit. Investing in the WNBA, that's the equivalent of investing in a tampon dispenser in the men's restroom. You're never going to see a return. Again, the question is, though, why does Adam Silver keep investing other people's money into a league that is hopeless? Unfortunately, I can't answer that question. I can only speculate. But if I had to guess, Adam Silver, he is terrified of the backlash. He is afraid of the negative publicity that he would receive for doing the right thing and ending this charity. The WNBA was the brainchild of David Stern. Now, he was the ultimate capitalist. David Stern, great businessman. There's one thing that David Stern knew how to do and do well, it was make money. If that dude could not figure out how to monetize the WNBA in the nearly 20 or so years that he was responsible for it, no one can. According to the New York Post, New York Knicks owner James Dolan, he's been kind of the unofficial spokesman for NBA owners when it comes to petitioning Adam Silver to do something about the WNBA. Problem is, Adam Silver refuses to be transparent. James Dolan has been pressuring Adam Silver for answers. He is asking when NBA owners will see a return on their investment, and Adam Silver seems to be ignoring him, probably because he doesn't have the answers, or he is afraid of providing the honest answers. Hey, Alice, Jamie Dolan here. When will I see a return on that polished turd? Jamie, I've got to be honest with you. Never. You know, I've never been a billionaire before. If I was, the last thing I would be investing in is pretend basketball. But I've never been a billionaire, so I have no idea how they think. But I could think of a few reasons that NBA owners would be frustrated with the WNBA. Just look at everything that's happened in this season alone. This league is struggling financially. They lost $40 million this season. And the WNBA's plan to offset some of those losses is to expand the league? Are you out of your fucking mind? You can't generate profit with the 12 dumps that you already have. And you want me to invest more of my money into 2 new dumps? Remember what happened at the beginning of this season? Kat Engelbert acquiesced to the unreasonable demands of WNBA players and gave them chartered flights. Hey there, pretenders, it's me, Kat the E. I've got great news. No more Greyhound buses, no more high-powered Schwinns. I've approved private airfare for all my employees who don't generate profit. We're flying first class, up in the sky, drinking champagne that we didn't buy. Over the last 30 years, the WNBA's lost, on average, $10 million every season. Chartered flights, that cost $25 million a year. If Kat Engelbert stood her ground earlier this season, if she told WNBA players that they can't afford private travel, the league would have only lost, $15 million this season? And maybe, just maybe, we're not sitting here having this discussion. While all that's going on, WNBA players, they are constantly complaining about their minimum wage salaries. They're also complaining about their portion of the NBA's TV deal. Well, Casey, I thought the WNBA signed their own TV deal. No. That was another generous donation from the NBA. WNBA players were complaining because the NBA is receiving, I think it's over $7 billion a year, and they are giving the WNBA around $200 million, which is $200 million more than they deserve. Put yourself in their shoes. Put yourself in James Dolan's situation. Imagine you're an NBA owner. You have been investing millions of your dollars into this league, and the only thing you receive in return is complaints. How would you feel about it? How would you feel if you invested your money and instead of appreciating your generosity, entitled players, they have their hand out demanding more? You know, since no one else is willing to say this, I will. The NBA needs to pull out completely of the WNBA. It's not fair to NBA players, damn sure not fair to NBA owners. Let the WNBA go into the free market and survive on their own. No more hand-holding, no more generosity, no more subsidies. Do you receive any of that? Do you have someone showing up on the first of every month to pay your bills? Obviously not. So why should the entitled players and the WNBA have that benefit? This league is never going to thrive unless they are forced to do it on their own. Give me your thoughts. NBA owners pissed off with the WNBA, and rightfully so. Should the NBA get out of the charity business? Should the NBA stop donating to the WNBA? If that happens, would the WNBA be able to survive on their own? You tell me. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com. See you guys tomorrow.